All right, guys, back here with Project Evo Killer. And right now, it's not killing anything. Well, that's not true. It's killing me. And it's killing a lot of time. So I guess it is a killer. Anyway, welcome to VTEC Academy. You're about to get schooled. Project Evo Killer's got some problems.
Not making that much horsepower.
No, it's not making hardly any. It's just so weird. That is weird.
Doesn't run right. It's got a misfire. It's got a bad misfire. Could be lean, could be coils, could be something else. Anyway, it also has a check engine light. And the check engine light is for the O2 sensor. We noticed that when we had it over the dyno, and that was a problem. So the air fuel sensor I had in here wasn't working properly. So the question is it a problem with compatibility or is it a bad air fuel sensor? First thing I needed to do is I needed to figure out, get a good air fuel sensor. So I grabbed our EK, which has working air fuel sensor and everything, and it's easy to get to because it's nice and high up on top of the manifold. And I took that out and I took a handful of other sensors and I tested them one by one to see which ones were working properly with that car. And turns out I had two other RSX sensors already, air fuel sensors, so I grabbed one of them, installed it in here. The other thing I did is when I fired up the car, I looked at the readout on the EK. It's tuned properly, runs like great, so I looked to see what was going on. Now it has a 14.6, 14.7 air to 1 air fuel ratio, so that means the computer's controlling everything properly like it should. I looked at what the vacuum was and a few other things. So I wanted to be able to compare that to this and see if I can't kind of figure out what's going on. So what I'm going to do right now, got the proper air fuel sensor in here. I'm going to go ahead and fire it up. Take a look at what's going on with the laptop and the K-Pro software and compare it to what I saw on the EK and see if I can't kind of figure out what's going wrong. So that's what we're going to do right now. So just kind of a rehash of what we have going on here. This is an Accord bottom end, CRV top end. It has an EP3 supercharger. We had this same setup in our Time Attack DA, ran about 305 horsepower with E85. And we do have E85 on this as well. We haven't put the E85 in yet, but we have the ability to do that. We also have 1000cc injectors. We had a different brand of injectors with the other setup. They were older style injectors, so these are new ones from AUS Injection. They're 1000cc. And we took it to the dyno and didn't make a lot of horsepower. So initially we thought possibly it wasn't going into VTEC. So we did replace the VTEC solenoid and we found the screen super clogged up. So we cleaned the screen out really good, put a different VTEC solenoid that we knew worked on it, so hopefully it goes into VTEC now. But still, I drove it over here, had a little bit of a miss, so let's see what we can see. A couple times I've had two USB cables. I'll carry a USB cable to the car as I'm going, and I'll be like, oh, we need to plug in, and I'll plug it in and I'll have forgotten that I already had a cable in here, so I'll have one going to nothing and one going to the ECU, and then I can't figure out why it doesn't work. All right, we're connected. All right, looking at what we have here. We're waiting for this to come on live. Oh, there we go. That is super lean. Can you do me a favor? I'm going to turn it on again. Can you check the fuel pressure?
It's going between 60 and 20. It's flying all over the place, and then when it gets crazy, it goes between 20 and 80.
This air fuel is fluctuating wildly as well. So I don't smell any gas. I don't think any gas is leaking. It sounds to me like we might have a fuel pump problem. This is that new fuel pump that I put in. Well, not really. I got to use one out of the salvage yard. So it sounds to me like we've got a problem with the fuel pump. The fuel pressure should be right around 47 to 50, I forget, is it 53 or something like that? So it should be right in there. If it's going down to 20, that would explain why I see a 20-to-1 air-fuel ratio. And then if it's not getting up above 45 for any significant amount of time, that would be why it never goes past 16-to-1. So that's lean. So that is a problem. So, and this feels like it's getting worse. Okay, so either the fuel pump's bad or the regulator's bad, but something's not correct. I don't smell any fuel, so I don't think it's leaking out anywhere. I would expect it to have some sort of intermittent leak. We've had problems similar to this with K-swapped EGs and EKs and DC2s. And when we have those, it's almost always that short section of fuel line that goes in between the fuel pump and the line that goes out. So they'll use an incorrect non-submersible hose, and it'll degrade and then start leaking really bad. And usually it'll get like progressively worse as it goes along. This, I suppose it could be the fuel pressure regulator, but it is aftermarket, but I'm guessing it's probably the pump.
How are you? Very similar to the other one. This one looks very similar to the other ones I pulled out. Hopefully one of the other ones are better. I'm going to actually put in the one that looks slightly different than this one and see how it works. So this one feels pretty much identical to this one. This one is similar, but it has these weird rubber stoppers on the bottom. We're going to try it, and easy to cross-thread these things. Although it's entirely possible I'm getting better at it since I've done it too many times. Well, see what we get. All right, the fuel pump's in. Let's fire this puppy up and see what we got. I'm gonna have you, by the way, look at the fuel pressure regulator and see if it's jumping around. So let me know in the notes if it is. All right, let's give it a try. It sounds a hell of a lot cleaner. I think, well, I think the roughness we're getting is actually from the fact that the voltage dropped so low on start that it probably didn't like that at all. So let's try firing it up again, see if it catches a little more quickly, and then let it just idle. Well, let's let it go through its idle learn circuit, which is going to take about 10 minutes, then we'll take it for a quick spin, see what we got. That is an '05 Civic K Pro, so it should be working. I'm going to roll down the driver's window. All right. Is it clear? It is clear. Well, the supercharger is supercharging. Let's turn around up here and do a little screamer back. Other than a slightly rough idle, feels really good. All right, we had a little ignition cut. So it cut out at RPM, so I'm gonna try and run up in that RPM again to see if that was, I mean, it like shut down. So I don't think it was a rev limiter, it just shut down. So let's try that again. We'll rev it up and see where it occurs. Right at about 5,800 RPM, so that means something's going on. So, I mean, big improvement, don't get me wrong. So now the question is, what is the problem? So, too much boost, or is it a issue with, it gets really lean and the computer's trying to protect it? Not really sure, but we're gonna see if we can't do something about that. Yeah, it just flat out shuts off. Interesting. It's not consistent, so it's not the computer saying you can't go past this RPM, because in first gear, it let me go all the way up to red line. In second gear, it shut me off at about 6,100 RPM this time. So I'm assuming it's a protection thing. We've got some sort of a cut going on that is occurring due to a lean condition probably. So let's look at our program and see what type of parameters we have set in there. Tim Kelly is the one who did this tune. Let's see if we can figure out what might be causing the ignition cut or fuel cut or whatever it is. Helps put the right key in. All right, so looking through the program, I don't see anything. I mean, there's lean protection, but it's not enabled. It's just one of those things where I don't tune. And I have been putting off learning how to tune successfully now for 20 years. And it may be time to bite the bullet and figure this stuff out. So that may be the end, in the end, of the practical result of this whole thing is me actually learning how to tune my own cars. So just what I need. Every time I learn something new, it forces something old out. I'm not sure I'm ready to lose my high school memories yet. Yeah, high school wasn't that great. I guess I'll do it. But I am going to Datalog. I'm going to Datalog because then I can send that information to Tim. Datalogging is going to have to occur on the laptop. So it's going to be open here on the seat and datalogging as we go along. That way I'll have something to give Tim so he can take a look at it. And I may be able to look through it too and be able to tell what's going on. Number one. Number two, the noodling around looking for datalogging on board this computer, it asked me to enable that through a switch. I didn't want to do that because then that takes my power steering pressure switch out of the situation, which currently is connected to the electronic power steering. Now that reminded me that I needed to reverse it in the software. So from power steering, I needed to make it an electronic power steering input. So I did that. And while I was looking at that, I noticed that the multiplexer was turned off, turned that on, and voila, I now have water temp for my car. So everything looks good. I'm gonna fire it up and take it for a spin. Let's see if it loses connection when I start it up. It did not. All right, I'm gonna run it up slowly to RPM. That was all the way to rev. It went all the way to red line again. Did I magically do something? Or is it a temperature thing or what? All right, I'm gonna turn around and try it again. Wow, I got all the way to red line. Well, weird. Downloading the program and re-uploading the program, maybe that fixed something that wasn't right. But we'll do a data log. We gotta get it stop stalling. Okay, it still needs some tuning. We're gonna take that log to Tim, see what he thinks of it, and see if we can't fix this idle problem. So right now, I'd say we're good for a bit. So anyway, let's pull back in. It ran fine.
It sounded so good when you pulled out here and then you just gunned it. It sounded amazing.
Yeah, it ran out all the way to it. First of all, it's spinning the shit out of the tires, but it ran perfect all the way up. So,
do you think turning on those?
I don't know if it was turning on. The only changes I made was turning on the multiplex and switching over the EPS, the hydraulic power steering pressure switch to EPS. That couldn't have done it. But what might have done it was downloading the program and re-uploading the program. That might have taken care of whatever little flaw was going on. So that could be the difference. But it doesn't want to idle, doesn't want to run low RPM, so we need to bring it back to Tim to fix those things. So that's going to be the next step now, is to go back to Tim's and see if we can't solve that problem. So,
Can you do a burnout?
Can I do a burnout? Most certainly. We got to check engine lights. Let's see what had happened. Oh, it's dry. Yeah, looks like we have an air bubble. So that is probably the code I was getting. We are gonna top this off with water and take it back to the dyno. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining us for another episode of VTEC Academy. Evo Killer is almost ready. Anyway, if you like videos like this, please think about liking and subscribing, and hit the bell so you get notifications when we have more videos like this. So we got more stuff we got to do. I forgot all about it. We got suspension, we have brakes, we need wheels and tires, but we have more episodes coming, and then we're heading to the track. Anyways, guys, thanks a lot for joining us. We'll talk to you next time. Maybe we'll see you on the track. Maybe in the salvage yard. I need water. She's thirsty.
She's parched.
She's parched.